Hey there everybody, just doing a review for this RAVPower Thunder power delivery power bank. These type of power banks are kind of a new generation of power banks because they're able to output a ton of power. In this case, this one is able to output 140 watts. Power bank actually features a screen, that is interactive. Uh, most power banks do not have interactive screens. It's just like either a few dots to show the battery capacity remaining, or it's just a screen showing the battery capacity remaining. Maybe it might show you some charging stats. But yeah, this is basically a more advanced generation of power banks that's happening right here. Just taking a look at the packaging of this RAVPower portable charger. Yeah, just this is some very plain packaging. Not really a negative, but if you're looking for some fancy packaging, you won't exactly find it here. And so yeah, as I mentioned before, a new generation of power banks, 140 watts of power delivery is a lot of charging power. You're going to be able to fast charge most USB-C laptops at their max speed. The power bank does have two USB-C ports right over here, and each of them are able to output 140 watts of power delivery if you're charging a single device from either of them. This is the Type A port right over here. I'm not too sure how much this outputs. I think it says 22.5 watts. Yeah, 22.5 watts is the max output of the Type A port right there. And overall, over to the back, it does have the specifications, and it does have these rubber pads. I think the entire build of this power bank feels like it's aluminum. It definitely has some weight to it. It feels well built, and probably the second, or right on par with the charging power. With being the most impressive part of this power bank is this screen. Yeah, this power bank actually has a screen right over here, as you can see. It shows the power bank status, which is standby, because I'm not using it right now. It tells me the battery capacity remaining. Over on this right side, it's really faded because I'm not using the charging right now. But you can see C1, C2, and the A1 port, which means the Type A port, and it's able to show the output wattage of the power bank real time. That's really cool. So you technically don't need a watt meter like I always use in my power bank reviews, because the watt meter is technically just built into the screen. And just pressing the power button again, it tells you some other features, such as the runtime, last charge to 48%, max capacity 100%, battery cycles 1. So how many charge cycles has this power bank gone through, because I have been using it a few times. Internal temperature. So yeah, it actually tells you the internal temperature of the power bank. That's very cool in Celsius, in Celsius and Fahrenheit. Total output is 90 watt hours. This screen does turn off. Total output 90 watt hours. I think that's telling me how much battery capacity I've used from this power bank so far from owning it. I think I'm not too sure about that, but pressing it again, screen display time. You can actually change it from always. You can hold down the button and change it to 30 seconds, I think. However, as you just saw, I do have it set to always by default, and the screen still turns off, but I think that's fine. I think this is for like when you're actually charging devices and you want the screen to always stay on, then it will stay on. But because I'm not using the power bank at all, the screen will turn off, which makes sense, because why would you need the screen on when you're not using the power bank? And that's really about it. Not really much else to say. Just taking a look at the specifications real quick in terms of the power allocation, in case you're curious about that. Because the power allocation for this power bank is actually pretty incredible. Yeah, as I mentioned before, 27,000 milliamp hour battery capacity for this RAVPower charger. This is going to be able to charge most phones to full power about 3, maybe 4 times, depending on what phone you're charging, that is. For tablets and laptops that have similar battery sizes, you're probably going to be able to get one single full charge and maybe spare capacity to use later. And right over here, input and output is 140 watts max for C1 and C2. The output of the Type A port is 22.5 watts. And so what's most incredible about this power bank is the power allocation. So, you can use the C1 and the Type A port at the same time, and C1 will still output 140 watts, and the Type A port will still output 22.5 watts. And if you're using the two USB-C ports at the same time, they're going to be able to output 65 watts of power delivery each. And then if you're charging from all three ports at the same time, C1 and C2 will output 65 watts, and the Type A port will continue to output 22.5 watts. And yeah, that's pretty awesome. The only device that I can actually charge with a rather high input is going to be my Lenovo Flex 5 laptop. So just a heads up on that. I did try to recharge a power bank using this power bank. I tried to recharge my Excitrus power bank, which you can see right over here. What happened was that the Excitrus power bank just defaulted to charging this RAVPower charger. Alright guys, so just back with the RAVPower power bank, and so right over here I'm testing out the two Type-C ports. I can't find a Type-C to Type-A charging cable, and honestly kind of tired right now, so I'm not going to even bother. But just know that you are able to use about 65 watts of power delivery even if you're charging three devices at the same time. But yeah, right over here I'm charging my Lenovo laptop from the C1 port, and that's charging at about 27 watts, 30 watts practically. And I'm charging my Galaxy Note 9 from the C2 port, and that is charging at about 12 watts. And yeah, basically, some powerful charging. This is nowhere near the max output of this power bank, which is 140 watts. Simply because I do not have a device that is able to charge that fast. And so yeah, that's really about it when it comes to the output charging testing. Let me go ahead and show you guys the recharging for this power bank. Hopefully I should be able to recharge this power bank at its full 140 watts, because I do have this VaultMe 140 watt wall charger. And so yeah, this is a VaultMe 140 watt wall charger. I should be able to use the full 140 watts from the C1 port. Doesn't look like it. Looks like I'm maxing out at 97 watts, basically 100 watts. Okay, so never mind. I'm in my room taking photos of the power bank, doing some review article testing. This is usually where I take photos for my review articles. And so right over here, I have the RAVPower power bank charging at about 140 watts, well, 135 watts, using the same VaultMe 140 watt wall charger. But in this case, I'm using the C2 port, and I'm using a different cable. I think this is, I don't know what brand this cable is from. I think you just need to use a cable that is able to supply up to 140 watts or over. I think that was the reason why when I was using this cable right over here, it was only recharging the power bank at 100 watts. And let me just go ahead and check if I can actually do some pass-through charging as well with the power bank. Let me see if I can actually charge my Lenovo laptop right over here and recharge the power bank at the same time. And yeah, looks like we do have pass-through charging capabilities. In this case, it actually just showed on the screen, which is a nice touch. Only downside is that I'm only able to recharge my laptop at 18 watts in this case, so that is some slower charging happening right there. Power bank is still recharging at about 97 watts. I will have a link to the product page down in the description below for this power bank. I will also have a link to the review article over at chargerharbor.com in case you want to read a review for this power bank as well. And I will see you all on the next video. All right, goodbye.